Right guys, so in today's video I'm building a compact table saw storage system to save space in small workshops. So a couple of weeks ago I designed and built a storage system for my contractor's type table saw that would allow me to decrease its footprint when it is being stored. The idea was to find a more efficient way to store bulkier machines in small workshops or garage workshops. It could be rolled out, folded or put into a working position, used and packed away relatively easily. Now the unit I built for myself was designed to store my saw for longer periods of time, because these days I find myself using my restored Woodworking AGS-10 most often. When the saw is packed away, it is completely concealed and the unit doubles as a small work surface in my workshop. In fact, these days it's become quite efficient at rolling around my miter saw. But as I mentioned in that video, my version might be a bit overkill for somebody that wants to store their saw for shorter periods of time, like somebody that uses their actual garage as a workshop on weekends. So they want to store their saw in the week, but they want to use it almost every weekend. So in this video, I'm going to build to demonstrate my idea for a more compact version of my table saw storage system. Now, if you haven't seen the other version of this build or the complete version of this build and you would like to, I would link it down below in the description of this video. I will also add plans for both versions to my plans website. Also, link it down below, so if you are looking for any of that information, just check the description of this video. Now, many of the components in the early stages of this project is basically identical to the other version, so I'm not going to waste too much time dragging it out. Right, so that's pretty much it for the main support structure of the unit, or the center brace. Now, I kind of just blew through it because it's pretty much identical to the full-size one that I did in the previous video. Now, next I'm going to install the sides, which is going to be very different because it's going to be a lot shorter. This unit is not going to have the full enclosure and the top, so the sides only need to be long enough to support the folding bed or the folding mechanism. Now the concept is actually very straightforward. It's just a support system or a frame that is strong enough to support the weight of the saw. Onto it I'm going to install a bed that can fold from a horizontal to a vertical position. By doing this, I will be decreasing the footprint of the saw, making it less intrusive in a small workshop and freeing up valuable floor space. I'm installing two struts at the base of the unit to give me a mounting point for casters, making the unit mobile. I'm using struts instead of a solid base because I want the unit to be able to eject sawdust at the bottom. When the saw is folded from its stored to working position, I'm going to use spring latches or self-engaging latches to keep the saw in its working position, freeing up my hands and giving me the ability to engage the primary toggle latches. So this means that the spring latches is not the primary support structure or system for the saw in its working position. And to facilitate the folding, I'm using normal hinges. Now, the hinges don't really carry the weight of the bed when the bed is in its working position. That will be done by the center brace and the latches. The hinges will, however, carry the weight of the saw when the saw is in its stored position. And like with the previous version, I will add all the hardware I used to my Amazon storefront, so you guys can check out the link in the description of this video if you want to get your hands on it. Okay, so this is pretty much it for the main housing or the main body of the unit. On top of this, I'm going to be installing the folding bed. That's going to allow me to change the saw from a working to a stored position. At this point, it's still very much the same as the previous version, except the sides are obviously a bit shorter, and I changed the base a little bit to accommodate the casters, because this time I don't have to accommodate the doors. So for the folding bed or the folding mechanism, I'm going to use the component that I assembled for the previous version because they are identical. So if you need more info on how this thing fits together, you can check out the other video where I show it in more detail, including all the hardware and stuff like that. Now, before I can get the saw installed onto the folding bed, I need to add a mechanism or a component that will support the overhang, because when the saw is in its working position and I apply too much pressure here, the unit can tip over. So I'm going to add a short door on a hinge that can open up, giving me a locking position or a locking point for the bed on this side, and I'm also going to include a kick-down door stop that I can engage to prevent the unit from tipping over when it is in its working position. Now, the stroke on the kick-down door stops aren't exactly long enough to overcome the height of the casters, so I'm installing them on small extensions. Just like with the previous version, I am using stop blocks on the doors to set the angle of the bed in its working position, and also to give me a mounting place for toggle latches to secure the bed in its working position. Right, and that's pretty much the unit. I can almost install the table saw onto the folding bed. There's one more step. I want to install a gas strut to assist in supporting the weight of the table saw during folding and when it is in its working position. And that's pretty much it for the compact version of my table saw storage system or storage trolley. And it's very basic. It's pretty much just a folding bed mounted onto a base or frame that is strong enough to support the weight of the saw during storage and during use. And when the saw needs to be stored, it would be folded into a vertical position, decreasing its footprint, where it can be moved up against the wall and freeing up precious space in a small workshop. And that's pretty much it, stored and out the way, freeing up valuable floor space. Right, so that's pretty much it for my compact table saw storage system, and considering what the inspiration behind the design was, I think I have achieved my goal. The saw can be stored in a compact fashion and out the way when I want to use my workshop space for something else, like in a garage workshop. But when I want to use the saw, I can wheel it out and fold it into a working position fairly quickly and easily. Now guys, if you want to support my channel or my brand, I will add plans for this project to my plans website. Keep in mind, not all saws have the same dimensions, so the plans might need a little bit of tweaking to suit a different brand or model saw. And that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have anything you would like to add, please drop it in the comment section down below. Do you think this would be a useful addition to a small workshop, or do you think it's over-engineered and unnecessary? I would love to hear from you guys. Then I know I haven't been posting as frequently as I would like to. I have had a lot going on in my personal life, but when I get time to get into the workshop and make videos, I absolutely do. So I will be back as soon as I can with more videos and more projects like this. And if you aren't subscribed yet, you should do that now. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time, cheers.